to the Commerce Commission.
Honourable Nathan Guy.
Speaker, well, we can see what's happening over in the Labour Party there. There's the true emerging leader of the Labour Party. Where is David Cunliffe leading off this general debate today for Labour? Nowhere to be seen. Where are the other front bench members? There we have David.
Point of order. Chris Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, repeatedly today we've had ministers questioning the absence of other members. It's well established that that's not acceptable, and I'm surprised that you haven't stopped them from doing that.
It hasn't been a repeated practice of the day at all. That is the first time I heard it, but it is out of order to refer to the absence of any member. Honourable Nathan Guy.
There we have the emerging leader, Shane Jones. The person sitting behind him today and last week, smiling away there, was the former leader of the Labour Party, David Shearer. Of course, he backed Shane Jones for the leadership bid, so he's loving it now. We heard that they had a very robust caucus this week. Very intense discussions in there. We know that the blood has started dripping on the floor already. There is a lot of doubt about David Cunliffe's leadership already emerging, starting to be unpicked by the New Zealand public, starting to be unpicked by the press gallery. There's a lot of doubt now emerging about tricky David Cunliffe. We now have the emerging Labour Party leader of the future, and it might be this year in 2014 that Shane Jones steps up to the plate. Things aren't looking good for the Labour Party. What a woeful couple of weeks they've had. A baby bonus policy where every backbench member in this House can get $60 a week. What an embarrassment that is. Of course, their poll rating, when we have the Prime Minister out there in the recent poll with a trust poll rating of around 60%, isn't that, and a likeability factor very much the similar. Isn't that fantastic? But importantly today, Mr Speaker, what I want to talk about is the backbone of this New Zealand economy, and that indeed is primary industries.
That's right.
Today I released a very significant update, a six-monthly update for the situation outlook for primary industries through to June 2014. And what did it say? Primary industry exports are up nearly $5 billion on forecasts. Isn't that fantastic? And of course the heads go down on the other side of the House. Yes, they do. They don't care about exports because they know their policies are going to damage the productive sector of the New Zealand economy. They don't care and don't support our dairy exporters up $2.7 billion. They don't care in the fact that our meat industry and our meat exporters returning more to farmers, $1.2 billion. Of course, logs are up $0.8 billion. Isn't this fantastic news? Well, what's Labor all about? We've got a plan. We've got a clear plan. Primary growth partnership, investing with industry and research and development, encouraging irrigation water storage projects, working hard on more free trade access agreements, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, lifting the performance of Māori agribusiness. What have Labor and the Greens proposed? Let's hear it. They're against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. They're against water storage projects. They're already talking about capping the dairy industry and its growth. They are against the rollout of ultra-fast broadband. They don't want our rural communities or New Zealand business to be able to connect not only with other suppliers here in New Zealand but also internationally. They don't have a plan for lifting the performance of Māori agribusiness. We do. We care about job creation. We care about supporting the regions. We back our exporters. Labor are just going to roll out a capital gains tax. They're going to propose this living wage, which will lift the unemployment benefit numbers, $18.80. They don't care about the productive sector. They're not interested in the roads of national significance and supporting them and getting our products through to ports and airports. They don't care about the Kapiti Expressway. And my region, they don't give a damn. We don't even know if they support Transmission Gully. So they haven't got a clear plan for the productive sector, apart from lifting tax, apart from straddling our exporters with more regulation and compliance. We back our primary industries, the backbone of the New Zealand economy.
Order. Point of order, Honourable Anne Tolley.
Point of order. I'm sorry to interrupt the member. Mr Speaker, there is a standing order that says you cannot move your seat in order to better barrack, to get a better position to barrack. Right through my colleague's speech, Andrew Little was calling out and barracking and has actually made a change in his seat to do so.
Order. It is the general debate, which is normally a fairly robust debate, and to date that has certainly been the case. I will watch further the behaviour of all members. The Honourable Annette King.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I'm very happy to have as many interjections as that lazy government over there can provide. And I want to start off by asking why this debate included Nathan Guy today. Because why would you put up a loser as a member to speak? The losing member for Otaki. I was in Levin yesterday. I went up there to service his electorate because he doesn't. 10 members of the public came to see me in Levin yesterday, and why? Because they can't get an appointment with him. You see, he is too important to see the people of Otaki. In fact, he doesn't give a damn. To use his own words, he doesn't give a damn about the people of Otaki. Bye-bye, Nathan Guy, I say to him. But he reflects the week after week arrogance of the national members of Parliament. You know, they are so puffed up these days. The old egos are very bloated, and they are the know-it-all of the Parliament. I mean, we have Judith Collins. Now, Judith, she is here to give advice on what we all should wear, what our attire should be. She's the know-all of the attire of Parliament. She knows what makes a nice jacket and what makes an ugly one. And then we have Tau Henare. Well, he's here to lecture us about media neutrality. The old talkback host, of course, he knows a lot about that. Then we have my cousin. You can't pick your relatives, Chris Finlayson. Well, of course, he inherited the nasty gene of the family, unfortunately, and I have beaten him twice, increased the majority last time, and I gather he's going to stand against me for a third time in Rongotai. Bring it on, because the majority will be even bigger. But he's here to lay down the rules on where to put your commas and whether you should wear jandals or not. And then we have Jerry Brownlee. Well, he places a ban on any interview with any media person who happens to question him. And then we have the junior minister, Simon Bridges, who often loses his rag in this place, but now he's so important that he won't even answer questions. But the doozy of them all has to be the Prime Minister, John Key. Well, I've noticed over the last few weeks he's become totally fixated, manic and paranoid about the Green Party. I mean, he manages to include them in just about every sentence that he uses. But who do they listen to for advice? They certainly are not listening to the people you would normally expect that they would listen to. I mean, they are experts on everything. But who are they listening to for advice? It's not the Salvation Army, because John Keyes said they ought to get out and look at what's happening on the street. They said that to the Salvation Army. Well, I have to say it's not the Children's Commissioner, because they're taking no notice of their ideas about poverty. It's not the New Zealand Police, who are telling they're short of cash and they can't fund the frontline police. It's not health professionals who are telling them there are problems in our health system. In fact, it is reflected, I have to say, in an aid that I'm using today, Mr Speaker, this aid, which is reflected in the fact that Tony Ryle is slipping in popularity with our health professionals, because obviously they find his health policy very, very poor indeed. So who are they listening to? Well, we now know who they listen to. The Prime Minister told us. They listen to Cameron Slater. For those who don't know who Cameron Slater is, he is that infamous blogger called Whale Oil. The Prime Minister has admitted that he talks to him a lot about political events because he has got an insightful mind. He's the man that calls people, when they die, feral, but when they're killed in car accidents. Well, he's Paula Bennett's bestie, and here I have a little photo of them together, and he's been advising Paula Bennett on her children's policy, and what does he say about children? Well, here's some of his advice, especially if a child dies. He calls them socks. Now, if you don't know what socks are, I have to tell you it is so obscene and it's so offensive I couldn't use the word in the House. But that's what Cameron Slater, who advises the Prime Minister, and Paula Bennett say about children when they die in New Zealand. He also says if they've got a silly first name, that leads to their death, so somehow it's their fault. And the last thing he says is that Maori are not caring for their kids. That advice is what goes to the National Party from their main advisor, Cameron Slater. They should be ashamed of themselves.
The member's time has expired. Jackie Dean.
That was a particularly awful and distasteful intervention from Parliament's most prominent landlady, Annette King. Mr. Speaker, you know, the truth is, if you can't run your